Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven, and this is the Storytime channel. Today we have some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, and our first story of the day is by Ramrod Ron. Not in my house, you don't. I'm a flight attendant for a major airline. Several years ago, I lived in Miami Beach in an oceanfront apartment building. Several floors of the building were operated as a hotel, but it was mostly residences. The parking garage was underneath the building. Okay, you get the picture. I had just worked a long international trip and was exhausted. I got home, parked my car, and got on the elevator. It stopped on the lobby level, and a couple who had just checked into the hotel entered. The husband saw my uniform and started loudly griping about their flight to Miami. We were stuck in Houston for 5 hours and they didn't give us a hotel room or some crap. Now I take a lot of abuse from people who need to vent, and it mostly just rolls off my back. But that is when I'm on the clock at work. I couldn't believe I was getting witched out in my own home about some airline thing. I was tired and over it after a 10-hour flight, and I let him have it. You had a stopover in Houston, so I'm guessing you must have flown on United, right? He said yes. Well, I don't work for United, and even if I did, I still wouldn't give a crap. This is where I live. How dare you get in my face, in my own home, to gripe about your minor inconvenience? I don't remember everything I said, but by the time we reached my floor, he was backed up against the wall. I do remember shouting, "Bye-bye," as I stomped out of the elevator. I used to be a people person, but people ruined it. Considering how OP changed, do you think that you're a people pleaser, or do you think you're somebody that just doesn't take any BS? Let me know in the comments down below. This next story is by Shark Queen. Gas station owner thinks I work for him. This happened to me in a gas station once. I was 17, so legally could not have worked there because they sold alcohol. When I was a teenager, everyone said I looked quite a bit older. The owner of the gas station mistook me for one older lady who worked there. I didn't realize it at the time, but this lady looked exactly like me, just older. I'm in getting a Red Bull and I hear, "Have you clocked in yet?" I didn't think he was talking to me, so I kept on looking. Suddenly, this 50-plus-year-old man is standing right in front of me, like stranger danger close. I was in college at the time, but still, I was 17. I backed off and put my hands up in front of me. "What are you doing?" he almost screams at me. "Get in the back. I don't pay you to drink our goods on the clock. And put on your work shirt. We have a dress code." I was terrified. I'd never been in a position like this before. I stammered something like, "I think you're mistaking me for someone else." But with my adrenaline pounding in my ears, I couldn't even be sure that's what I said. I turned and started walking quickly towards the door, almost in tears, because that's what anxiety does, and about to steal the Red Bull I forgot was still in my hand when I get a yank on my shoulder. "Come back here!" Something kicked in. I remembered the Red Bull. I threw it right at his face. This was the big 20-ounce can. Dude let go and ducked. I made it outside and stood by my car watching the door. This was before I had a cell phone, and so I didn't know what to do. My parents lived over an hour away. Two things happened then. The owner came out of the store, and a cop pulled up and parked. He must have been on a munchie run himself. The store owner had apparently realized his mistake because the lady he mistook me for had called out sick, but he hadn't gotten the message yet. When he saw the cop outside, he assumed I'd called them and started apologizing all over the place. I wasn't sure what to do, but I felt like I should at least make the owner show the cop the security tape. He kept downplaying it and claiming, "Oh, you can barely see anything at that angle." After reviewing the tape, the cop called my parents and we pressed assault charges. The owner lost his business and faced prison for 4 months because I was a minor. But the scariest part was how much the woman looked like me. If the dude had just handled the mistaken identity better, it would have been a much different story. The fact of the matter is, whether mistaken identity or not, you don't go around grabbing people, not a customer, and especially not somebody that works for you. Some people might think that it's a little extreme what OP did as far as pressing assault charges, but there never should have been a reason to be able to in the first place. There is no reason to let this person get away with this and technically create an expectation that, hey, maybe it's okay if your boss grabs you by the shoulder and tries to yank you around and boss you around. Like, no, that's not okay. Our next story is by Hooked on Phones, but I'm the homeowner. This just happened and I'm still a little confused. Bit of background. I, like most people in our neighborhood, have been working from home since COVID started. We have a townhouse and there's another row of houses behind ours. I wear blue t-shirts because I like blue, and am on the spectrum, and mostly because I like blue. Anyway, I've had a bit of a work lull and have been stepping up my cleaning routine. I spent a solid hour on my knees today scrubbing the kitchen grout that turned out to be light beige, not dark brown. Who knew? About an hour ago, our doorbell rang. I answered and found a random Karen on my front steps. Without any introduction, she started right in. "How much do you charge?" I say, "Pardon me?" "How much do you charge?" I say, "Charge for what?" Dramatic eye roll, equally dramatic sigh, under her breath, "They let just about anyone in here, unbelievable." In an overly loud tone and extra slowly, "How much do you charge for your cleaning services?" At this point, it dawned on me that she thought I was here cleaning. This is a bit odd. Our front drapes were closed all day, so the only way she would have seen me cleaning is if she was looking in our back second floor windows. So yeah, creepy. I'm not a fan of people who are rude. Doesn't matter if you think they are beneath you, there's no reason to be an a-hole. I say, "Oh, I see. I don't charge to clean my house. Do you think I should send my husband an invoice?" "Give me your husband's phone number. Clearly I'll need to negotiate with him." At this point, I shut the door in her face. The high today was 28 and windy, so I can't imagine that she was comfortable standing out there. But at least she has some time to cool off. My husband was coming upstairs at this point and opened the door. "Do you speak English?" Significant other says, "Yes, do you not?" "This is America. We all speak English here. Your employee was very rude to me. I want to hire your cleaning services, but she will not be welcome in my home. Bring someone else. I'll need a full house clean tomorrow, and I will pay $80 if your staffer does a good job." At this point, entitled Witch stomped off, clearly convinced she was getting her house cleaned. I guess she told her husband because he came by about 20 minutes later and profusely apologized. Apparently, this had already been discussed already, and she absolutely refused to believe that we lived there, have for more than 6 months now. He had told her to leave us alone, but she was evidently determined. He said, "I told her you guys were the new neighbors. She just refused to believe me. She said you always wear blue uniform shirts and just couldn't be persuaded. I'm so sorry for the interruption." Edit, her spouse just came back over with a gift card. Wanted to give us dinner on him for putting up with his wife. Think we'll ask him to join us. Even if you were convinced that they were cleaners, how do you just show up and be so informal with the process? Say, "Yeah, I want my house cleaned up. If you do good, I'll pay you $80, and then just leave. There's like so much detail missing in between everything everywhere. Where's your house? What do you want to clean? What rooms are there? And that's assuming you're actually talking to a person that does cleaning. This next story is by Rainbow Skit. Please fire me from this store I never worked at. This story happened quite a few years ago, probably around 7 or 8. Background. I, 29-year-old female, was in my early 20s in a very popular department store that bears a blue banner with yellow lettering in the middle of Canadian winter. So to set the image, I had a very puffy winter jacket, gloves, and a toque on, complete with winter boots that can withstand temperatures you wouldn't dream of. I also had earbuds that had a very bright colored wire, very easy to see contrasted to my jacket. I worked as a cashier in a very Canadian donut shop during those years, but I wasn't even wearing the uniform for that place. I think I was wearing sweatpants or something along those lines. The story. I'm shopping around with my cart, looking for a curtain rod for my room in the apartment I'd be sharing during my back to college time. Jamming to my music, I see an older woman waving at me. She's probably in her late 50s, early 60s. Anyways, I take one earbud out, big mistake, and ask if I can help her. I always try to be nice if I can. Well, I need to find item I can't recall. Oh, I'm sorry. I have absolutely no idea where that would be. I think you should ask one of the store employees. You have to help me now. And for the love of God, remove those earbuds while working. It's not polite at all. Me looking down at my outfit. I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't work here. You're lying. I've been watching you. I'm utterly confused. I look at my cart. There's deodorant, a lamp, a shirt, and some other random crap, and my purse. I'm clearly not an employee. At this point, I'm done. I put my earbud back in and continue my shopping. I can hear her talk, but can't make out what she says as I walk away. A few minutes later, I turn into a new aisle and it so happens to switch songs in my ears. I see the lady with a store employee wearing a nicer shirt, clearly a manager. All I hear is, "There she is." I immediately yank my earbuds out. I need to hear this. She's refused to help me and ignored my requests. And look, she even listens to music while on shift. You need to fire her. The manager looked at me, and I could see in his face his soul had just left for a better place. Ma'am, she's not employed here. I've never seen her in my life before. That's all I wanted to hear. I just left afterwards. Didn't see it pan out. Poor guy must have had an earful. I don't understand how this woman could have confused me for an employee. I was geared to brave a blizzard. Oh, if there's one thing that'll set a bona fide Karen off, it's if you have those earbuds in your ear. God, do they hate if you have those earbuds in your ear. Take them out. You're talking to an adult here. Stop listening to stuff on your shift. Oh man, every time. This next story is by Pugfarts9000. Double I don't work here, lady. Don't shop tired. Hi. New here thanks to seeing one of the many YouTube channels that draw cool stories from here, and felt I should share a sort of silly encounter for the amusement of all. This happened about 12 years ago, but the memory is still fresh. It was an evening after a long day of work and my wife and I needed to buy a printer for some reason that's lost to me now. We went to the closest place one might find such things, Best Buy, where the store uniform is a blue polo shirt with the Best Buy logo on it. As I said, I had just come from work and was wearing the summer office casual attire of a short sleeve polo shirt. If you guessed that polo shirt was blue, you can probably see where this is going. So we're strolling down an aisle, looking at cheap home printers when I notice a man in blue approaching out of the corner of my eye. The interaction goes like this. "Excuse me, do you have fax machines?" I say, "No, I don't." "Okay, thanks anyway," and walks away. Wife about 10 seconds later says, "Oh my God, I think he thought you worked here and wanted help finding a fax machine." I say, "What do you mean? He works here and was just doing the salesman thing. Look, he's wearing the uniform and..." That's when it clicked for me as I looked up and realized two things at once. First, that he's just shopping himself, as I see him comparing shelf tags for a couple of items, and he's just wearing a regular blue shirt, not a uniform. Second, that I'm also wearing a blue shirt that looks an awful lot like the store uniform, thus his mistaking me for an employee. And that's how I got to be on both sides of an I don't work here lady encounter at the same time. We did get the cheap printer we came for, and I have tried to make it a point not to go shopping after being zombified by a long day in the office since. I just hope that OP reached out to the guy and told them there was a misunderstanding. They probably do have fax machines here, because that would kind of stink in retrospect if the guy never got a chance to look for fax machines as a result of that small case of mistaken identity when they probably had them. I mean, it's Best Buy. And our final story of the day is by Explainer003. Lady thinks I paint ceramics for customers. I like painting ceramics. It's a stress reliever for me, and I went often before the pandemic. This particular story took place a couple years back. I was painting at my local paint-your-own ceramic store one day to get away from my parents for a few hours and calm down. The owner trusted me enough to leave me alone in the store and stepped out for a bit. I zoned out and just focused on my work when I hear the Karen. "You! I tried calling for 30 minutes, why didn't you answer me?" I say, "Sorry miss, I wanted to know the prices of your ceramics and I wanted to book a party for Friday." "Ma'am, I don't..." "Now tell me the prices." I get up and walk over to the shelf and started to explain the same statement I have heard over and over again. Can you tell I come here often? While I was doing this, the owner came back in. "Opie, what are you doing?" I say this lovely lady wanted to know prices, so I was telling her how pricing worked. Owner to Karen says, "Miss, she's a customer." Karen says, "That's BS, I saw her painting." Owner says, "Ma'am, this is a paint-your-own ceramic shop. She's painting something for herself." "Then how does she know about the pricing system here?" "She's a regular here. She's heard both my daughter and I talk pricing over and over again, so of course she would know." "Then who do I talk to?" Owner says, "I am able to assist you. Opie, you can go sit. I got this." I got a free mocha from her daughter's coffee shop for not losing my cool on that Karen. Yeah, I was gonna say at the very end that OP should have gotten some kind of kickback commission for it. I guess a free mocha is something, but they should have gotten like some kind of percentage off a ceramic or something like that. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. And if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.